This is CBS 7 News at 6. Your eye on West Texas.
The only source, since we don't have any rivers, is from the groundwater.
After years of securing its water supply, the city of Fort Stockton is now looking to sell its precious resource to the city of Odessa.
The city of Fort Stockton has been the center of major water disputes, most recently the fight between the city and Midland businessman Clayton Williams.
It was a water war with millions of gallons of water at stake as the oil tycoon fought to have water transported from his ranch in Pecos County to the Tall City.
Now another potential water deal is raising some questions. This time it's the city of Odessa looking to purchase water from Fort Stockton.
CBS 7's Jennifer Samp joins us now from Fort Stockton with more on this possible agreement. Jennifer?
When you hear that Fort Stockton is selling water to another city, it raises the question on how is this different from the Clayton Williams case? Well, we're here in Fort Stockton. We did some digging, and this is what we found out.
For decades, the city of Fort Stockton says they've been protecting their water sources from diminishing.
We need water for everybody. We live in a desert, and there's only so much.
Fort Stockton Mayor Bill Lanham says a few weeks ago, the city of Odessa made an offer to buy water in their efforts to provide enough for residents. But he says the Edwards Trinity Aquifer, the same water source Williams wants to tap, is off limits. An alternative aquifer, which is about 4,000 feet deeper, contains hundreds of millions of gallons of salt water.
Odessa's asked us to look at the Capitan Reef, which is much deeper and maybe much saltier and more difficult to treat.
The question is, how much is Odessa willing to pay to drill for the water, pipe it in, and treat it at a desalination plant?
The prices that they got last week apparently were not favorable.
The mayor says the city of Odessa is asking for at least 40 million gallons per day. Meanwhile, the Ward County Groundwater District fears that one drilling mistake could contaminate the clean water they use in the Edwards Trinity Aquifer.
It is a concern. It needs to be addressed.
The city of Odessa and Fort Stockton say they will continue to exchange prices. Lanham says if there is a cost-effective way to get to the water, then it will be a much-needed source of income for the city.
Without water, there's going to be an economic downturn that we don't need right now.
The mayor says this is still in its early stages, so stick with us on CBS 7 and CBS7.com for the updates. For now, in Fort Stockton, Jennifer Samp, CBS 7 News.
Jennifer, thank you. The city of Odessa has received 8 proposals from people who want to build the desalination plant and a 44-mile pipeline. The bidders come from Odessa, Austin, Fredericksburg, Roanoke, San Antonio, and even Indiana. A committee will meet Friday to narrow the list for further consideration. For a look at the complete list of bidders, you can go to our website at CBS7.com.
Meanwhile, area lake levels continue to decline. Here's the latest report issued from the CRMWD. Lake J.B. Thomas has hit 0.7% full. E.V. Spence sits at 0.35. O.H. Ivy saw a major drop, going down almost a third of a percentile to under 15.5% full. Overall lake levels now sit below 7% full.
New tonight at 6 o'clock, the housing shortage has led to some drastic measures for some residents. RV camps are popping up all over Midland County, from 2 to 20 vehicles, and often these camps don't have water or sewer hookups. The only patrol for the camps in Midland is the sheriff's office, and they only have 2 deputies available to patrol these makeshift camps that are in almost every corner of the county.
Once you exceed like 7, you must have separate water, you must have separate electricity, and you must have a septic system. Some people are putting in what is known as a portable septic system.
Sheriff Painter says they are continuing to watch these camps and hand out tickets when violations occur.
The Ector County Environmental Enforcement Agency says their focus has shifted from trash to oil field service trucks. They say they're catching tanker trucks dumping dirty water on county roads and in neighborhood streets every day. Ted Yelly with the county says this water is unclean and could be dangerous if it seeps into the ground because it's oil, water, and H2S gas.
What we did is went out looking for tanker trucks that were dumping on the road, which is something we have a lot of out there. The trucks will either their valves will come open, they'll start leaking, or they'll forget to dump, like the one we looked at, he forgets to close his valve and it starts leaking down the roadway, spilling oil and water. And some people will intentionally open their valves up to drain it out so they don't have to go to disposal.
The environmental enforcement has been handing out tickets almost daily because of dumping like this is a Texas water code violation. The county has hired an attorney out of Dallas to prosecute these state violations. So far, the county has sent over almost 30 cases.
Roads in West Texas are becoming more dangerous as oil-filled traffic tears through town. That's why the state is looking at ways to improve Texas roads.
The problem is right now the Permian Basin is not on the list for upcoming projects. CBS 7's Shannon Murray joins us now live with an update on what our local advocates are doing to make sure their voice is heard. Shannon?
Jay Tatum, whether you're driving along a side street or you're trying to get onto the interstate, it's nearly impossible to avoid the traffic that comes along with the booming oil and gas industry here in West Texas. And frankly, it's just something that many people here in the Permian Basin just aren't used to. And that's the exact reason that TxDOT's Energy Sector Task Force will be meeting in Cleburne, that's near Dallas-Fort Worth, on Monday to discuss the energy industry's impact on Texas roads. Many of you may be thinking, oh yeah, Permian Basin is king when it comes to oil and gas, but actually we didn't even have representation on that task force until a story ran here on CBS 7 questioning that very thing. Now the Midland-Odessa Transportation Alliance says they finally have a voice on the task force, but they still have a whole lot to prove when it comes to why they believe West Texas should be the #1 priority when it comes to improving our roads. They actually tell me they find it ridiculous that they even have to prove their relevance when it comes to the energy industry. I did speak with TxDOT officials earlier today who say, you know what, that boom that you're experiencing and the effects that go along with it, that's happening all over the state, and we have an obligation to look everywhere. So coming up tonight on CBS 7 News at 10 o'clock, we'll hear from some of our local task force representatives about how they plan to prove their point to the state, and we'll also hear from TxDOT themselves about why it is that so many people feel that there has been a lack of attention on West Texas when it comes to this project. For now, reporting live in Midland County, Shannon Murray, CBS 7 News.
Thank you, Shannon. We had triple-digit heat again this afternoon with temperatures hitting 105.
It's hot. Is it going to cool down anytime soon? Weather Director Craig Stewart joins us now from the Pinpoint Weather Center with a look at what we can expect later tonight. Craig?
Jay Tatum, like you said, triple digits. It has been very, very hot outside, and the weather headlines, no big changes, at least through the work week. We're going to be looking at sunny skies, very hot conditions. That was what we saw this afternoon. Triple digit heat, that continues at least through Friday. And what you can expect, the early evening forecast, clear skies. We're going to be right around 93 degrees at 10 o'clock. The average high this time of year is 94 degrees, and the winds out of the southeast maybe 5 to 15, 5 to 10 miles per hour. So really no relief from the heat with the winds, but the heat's sticking with us. We'll tell you when you can expect maybe a little bit of a cool down coming up in a bit.
Craig, thanks very much. Texas officials say the heat is on for 2012. Just step outside and you know that. A spokeswoman for ERCOT says today's power demand was expected to break a June record for the second consecutive day. Yesterday's peak statewide usage surpassed 65,000 megawatts for the first time this year. Heat advisories were issued for large pockets across Texas.
New tonight at 6 o'clock, Midlanders will soon see major upgrades at some of their neighborhood parks.
Midland City Council agreed to begin the process of upgrading several of those parks. As CBS 7's Robert Guadarrama tells us, they are also looking at incorporating technology with the changes. Robert?
We're here at Hogan Park, which is one of 7 parks receiving exciting upgrades. And the city plans to use some of the funding to link technology with parks.
Merging technology and play.
Several Tall City parks will soon be getting makeovers, using money already allocated for parks.
This is monies that we had on COs from years past that we need to spend, money that we have identified in COs the current year, and then just little pieces of money that were out there that we've kind of just brought it all together.
Butler, Grafa, House, Pioneer, Sparks, Ulmer, and Hogan Parks will all be receiving new playground equipment, picnic tables, benches, grills, shade structures, and athletic field upgrades. But city leaders say the most exciting change is incorporating QR codes in the parks and playgrounds.
We've got to keep up with times. Our kids are getting taught these new advanced technologies. We want to give them reason to be out there in the parks and these QR codes are a great reason to do that.
You can take your smartphone, scan the QR code on the playground, and kids can learn about different games they can play on that playground, different ADA accessible options that the playground has, who the maker is, what's the structural integrity of the playground system, and who to contact if you have a question, right there just by scanning your phone.
Tells you things that are happening throughout the day in that park. There might be a park event coming up.
A feature that park officials say is actually at little to no cost, but has huge benefits. Park goers we caught up with say the upgrades will get more people outdoors, especially kids.
It'll give them something to do outside instead of being indoors all the time.
We got to encourage kids to be outdoors more. You know, the video games and stuff like that's kind of taken away from that.
This morning, City Council voted unanimously to put out for bids for labor and materials for this project. They expect that bidding process to take about 60 days. Reporting in Midland, Robert Guadarrama, CBS 7 News.
Robert, thank you. Here's a quick look at some more stories making headlines across West Texas. Andrews officials say sales tax numbers are bringing in more revenue and could bring in even more dollars. According to the Andrews County News, the June rebate check, which was for April, was more than $500,000. It marks the fourth check this year that surpassed $500,000 barrier. So far, the city has collected more than $3 million.
Turning to Pecos, where the city council is taking the first steps toward a bond election in November. Council met last night to set up city council budget workshops. The first will be held on July 5th. Last night's meeting also featured a presentation on expenditures of the street bond project.
And the Big Spring School District has a new District 2 trustee. Retired teacher Pat DeAnda defeated incumbent Maria Padilla in a 13-10 vote in Saturday's runoff election. DeAnda was sworn into the new position during a special board meeting. We had another scorchingly hot day in West Texas today. So how long is this heat wave going to stick around?
Weather Director Craig Stewart has your complete 7-day forecast coming up after the break. You're watching CBS 7 News, your eye on West Texas.
Good evening, everyone. It has turned out to be another very hot day all across the area. Show you what we have going on outside right now. Our temperature is at 103 degrees. Not much in the way of the wind to help with the heat. Variable at 3 miles an hour, dew point 43. Humidity is awfully low at 13%. The pressure is 29.87 and falling. We'll take a look outside. We'll show you the Pinpoint 7 iCam as we look out over the Horseshoe Arena with maybe just a little bit of clouds out and about. Otherwise, it is still very hot. Likewise, in Big Spring, as we take a look down at the Settles Hotel, it has turned out to be hot all across West Texas. In fact, it is hot all across the state. Temperatures, and there you have it as you look at the Big Spring area. We just saw 104 degrees. We're at 102 Fort Stockton, 106 for Pecos, up to Hobbs 100 degrees, 95 for Marfa. Alpine at 97, San Angelo 107 degrees across the state. There might be little pockets where you're into the 90s, but for the most part, it is triple digits. Up into the Panhandle, 104 for the Amarillo area, 103 Lubbock, 105 Dallas, 106 Austin, 102 along the Gulf Coast. For Houston, you're looking at very hot conditions. And then again, right around 100 degrees El Paso. You get up toward Ruidoso, temperatures there at 88 degrees. You know, that sounds pretty good for this time of year right now. After we saw it 105 today, we started out at 70, average 69. Average high is 94 degrees, and we hit 105, the record 112 back in 1994. I want to show you quickly what we have going on. We've got a ridge around our area, and that's going to hold true at least throughout the work week. And Tropical Storm Debbie is trying to make its way onshore Florida. It'll become a tropical depression and then move out into the Atlantic, becoming another tropical storm. But for us, it's the ridge of high pressure, and that means very hot conditions. In fact, here is the 7-day forecast. 103 tomorrow, 101 on Thursday, 101 on Friday. The extended forecast, and no big changes on the way. We might get out of the triple digits for Saturday and Sunday, but it is going to be sunny conditions tomorrow all the way at least through Sunday. 99 on Saturday and Sunday, 98 on Monday, and then hopefully, knock on wood, Tuesday, we get back into the mid-90s. Otherwise, it is hot, early morning lows, lower to mid-70s. Ouch. If you are outside, please take care. Hydrate, hat, sunscreen, plenty of breaks. Try to find some shade.
All right.
It's hot out there.
It is boiling.
All right.
Greg, thanks very much. The Tall City is stepping up its efforts to keep you and your family safe when severe weather or other disasters strike.
That's right. Coming up, we will tell you the details on a new emergency alert system. You're watching CBS 7 News, Eye on West Texas.
The Midland City Council has approved the purchase of new outdoor emergency warning systems. Today, the council voted to replace the city's 9 emergency sirens. Councilman Jerry Morales says that the current system is old and outdated and the change is much needed. But this isn't your ordinary siren system. The new system will have verbal warnings telling residents exactly what to do.
It will talk to you to warn you that there's a tornado coming or warn you that there's a fire in the area. And so you still hear the siren, but you'll actually hear verbal message, go to your house, go turn your TV on, get additional message. And so we really are excited about seeing that new technology.
The replacement is expected to cost $124,000.
Time now for a look at sports. It is hot outside, so why not play volleyball outside? And there's actually a new sand volleyball area, right?
There is. I wouldn't play it because I would burn my feet. But it was absolutely fantastic to see this facility today.
A lot of people are playing them.
A lot of people are playing later at night when it's kind of cooled off a little bit. We were out there for 5 minutes, and I think I drank 2 bottles of water. Wow. It was insane. Sure. Let's get to trivia, and then we'll hear more about it. And trivia is brought to you by Window World. David Ortiz had his 37th multi-home run game for the Red Sox. What former Red Sox player did he tie? Your answer in sports coming up next. Welcome back. Volleyball is already a challenging sport. I know that I can't play it, but throw in some sand and, well, it's a completely different and even more challenging sport. And that's a sport that a group here is hoping to make popular in the Permian Basin. This week, Sandpit Sport started a sand volleyball league in hopes of getting people of all ages outside, working out, having a good time, getting some exercise with all of that. Organizers say they've seen a growing need for this sport for some time now.
And there's just never any facilities to use for this type of thing. So I think it's going to be beneficial to have a facility for people to come play out during the week and weekends. So.
Coming up tonight at 10, we'll hear more from Rogers and others on the impact the sport can have. All right, let's get back to completely solid ground and more specifically turf. Big news in the world of college football. A new postseason model has been unveiled. A presidential oversight committee has approved a 4-team playoff model for NCAA Division I college football to begin in 2014. The deal will last 12 years through the 2025 season. It took less than 3 hours for the committee to approve the proposed system, and the group also approved of rotating the semifinal games around the 6 bowl sites, and then the championship game would rotate among neutral sites. Dallas would be up for bid in that one. The championship game will not be branded as a bowl game. Sticking with football, but up to the NFL, the Rookie Player Symposium continued today with the new crop of players learning about life in the NFL. Michael Vick and Pac-Man Jones had big presentations today. Both players shared what led to their widely publicized mistakes. And new Cowboy Mo Claiborne thinks this has been very beneficial.
You hear a lot of people talking about all the things that go on in the NFL, and just to come here and see some of the guys who actually went through those things, and also some of the guys who had great careers and just try to follow behind those guys and not follow the wrong footsteps. You get they got a lot of guys' attention because a lot of guys want to know what to do and what to do and what not to do.
All right, let's get back to trivia. David Ortiz had his 37th multi-run game for the home run game for the Red Sox. What former player did he tie? The answer is B, the great Ted Williams. And Brendan Rowe from Odessa is our trivia genius this evening. Okay. Whitney, thanks. We'll be right back.
Entertainment Tonight is coming up next.
You make it a great evening.